Well, hi there, everybody. I'm Jack Church, and this is my podcast, The Jack Church Show. I'm coming to you today from the great outdoors. So you may hear a little intermittent traffic noise and other ambient noise from around the neighborhood here. The sun's out for the first time in a while, so I thought I would take advantage of it and take the show outdoors. If you're watching via YouTube or listening via our podcast through one of the various platforms, thank you for checking in. And if you're actually watching this, you probably noticed behind me, it's kind of a strange looking set of vines. This is where hops are grown next to a local brewery. Kind of cool to see, and right now, of course, they're all brown and turned as the season is pretty much over. But we're not here to talk about hops today. We're here to talk about something near and dear to our hearts, cell phones. Now you may be saying, well, what the heck does a cell phone have to do with my moving forward from grief and loss? Well, in many cases it has a lot to do with it. As you know, I take questions from our listeners via our email address, which is thejackchurchshow@yahoo.com if you ever want to send a note. And I actually heard this from about 4 different people from around the country. And most recently, a friend of mine who had lost her sweet husband less than a year ago down in Florida. And the question has been asked, when do you remove or disconnect the service to your loved one's cell phone? Now, for some of you, if you're listening or watching and you've not had to experience that type of loss yet, I'm happy for you. At some point in life, though, if you're in a relationship, one of you will face that type of loss. So let's talk about the cell phone. And in today's world, why it seems so incredibly difficult to part with. Not just on our own personal level, but that cell phone, as you well know, was a means of communicating when you were out of sight with your loved one. They would give you a call. They'd send you a text, send you little cute emojis and things like that. And so probably in the early days of your grief, if you were like me, you would look down at that phone and think, oh wow, I haven't heard from, oh wait, I'm not going to hear from them. Or, gee, they haven't called today. That's right, they're not going to be calling. But you still have their phone, don't you? Well, I kept my sweet wife's Pam's phone around for about 3 or 4 months. And yes, my kids were like, Dad, you sure you're not ready to, turn it in? You're paying for 2 lines. It's true. It was costing me extra money every month. But maybe in a way it was kind of a payment towards a little comfort, because I could pick up her phone, I could look at her call history, I could still look at texts that we exchanged between the two of us, and it was like I still had a link to her. But in reality, it was a link to the past. That phone really, other than kind of being like, I don't know, it's maybe like a child with a teddy bear. How many of you had a teddy bear when you were a child? How many of your children have you given a teddy bear to? It's a sense of comfort, right? And we often tell our children that you keep that teddy bear as long as you want until you feel comfortable releasing it. And I guess that's what I've learned about cell phones. There is no time period for when you have to get rid of a cell phone from your loved one, and don't let anybody tell you any different. Don't let anybody tell you that you're nuts for keeping that cell phone. Why do you keep it around? Why are you paying that money? They're not going to call you. They're not going to message you. Well, you know what? That's your business. We get to make our own decisions in this grief journey as we continue to move forward. We really do. So let's go back to what did I do with Pam's cell phone? Well, for me, after about 3 or 4 months, I thought, yeah, I'd like to reduce my cell phone bill. I really would. And then I got the idea of, you know what? Pam's cell phone is much newer than mine. It's got a few other features that I like. So I went to the cell phone store, and you know what? I did disconnect her number. but I transferred my number, all my contacts and everything into her phone. And you know what else she had? She had a pink case that she kept her phone in. You think I got rid of that pink case? No sirree, buddy, I did not. I kept that pink case. And I work it. I have no problem having that pink case. In fact, it's in my back pocket right now. For those of you watching, you can see it. If you can't, it's pink. It's got a little gold and silver on it. And it's about worn out. And eventually, I'll probably have to get a new cell phone case for the phone. But I'll probably keep that case. I'll put it away in a drawer somewhere. It's just a reminder. And when this phone, which was her phone, eventually needs to be updated or upgraded, as they say, I'll probably keep it. I won't turn it in. I'll keep it. And I'll put it back in that pink case. And I'll put it somewhere safe and sound. And you know what? It'll still be with me. But no, I won't ever get another text or a phone call from Pam. That's just not going to happen. And so for me, it was a 3 or 4 month period to transition. But as I said, I'm still using her phone. And it did keep most of her contacts in there. A lot of the texts, though, I did delete several of them. Some of them, too, were kind of painful texts when she was in a lot of pain and hurting, and she would send me a text saying, "Can you come home, please? I'm having some issues." Things like that. Didn't really need those reminders, so I got rid of those. Little love texts, little love taps, things like that. Yeah, they're still there. I still keep her email account too, and I like looking back through it as well. So there you have it. There is no timeline for when you have to get rid of that cell phone. I've just given you a couple of suggestions for what I did. Maybe you've got some ideas as well and you want to drop us a note. You can do that again. It's at thejackchurchshow@yahoo.com. I'd love to hear from you, hear your comments. We can talk about it more. I also want to thank you all for your support of the program. And if you've not yet subscribed, I hope you will on whatever your favorite provider is, whether it be Spotify, Google. There's so many out there right now, Apple. Please subscribe. And there's also an area where you can support our show financially for as little as just $4.99 a month. I don't talk about that much, but it is appreciated. Got to keep the lights on, keep things going. It's kind of like supporting public radio or Christian radio, something like that, if you so feel moved. Otherwise, certainly not a requirement. Again, thanks for checking in with us. And as we always say, let's make it a great day. And you know what? Let's make it a better tomorrow. Bye now.